Good morning. Very fond greetings to all of you today. For those of you who are visiting here at Parish All Saints, my name is Father Kevin Gruber. I'm the parish administrator, and with our associate pastor, Father Frank, and our deacon, Mark Parish, welcome all of you who are visiting to our Eucharist. And also, I wanted in a special way to welcome Father David Lane, the chaplain at the Indiana State Prison, and also the prison in Westville, to our liturgy as well. So we're always happy to have you. About a year ago, I got a phone call from my friend George. George was preparing to get married, and he said, "Father, I would really like for you to come and to celebrate my wedding." And I said, "George, when are you getting married?" He said, "Father, I want to get married on July the 30th of 2012 or 2011. And I said, so I looked at my calendar and I said, "George, you know what? I'm free and I would be happy to do that." So he said, "Great, Father, I'm really, really excited." So, we've kind of planned along the way. He did his marriage preparation at another location. I've had some limited conversation with him simply because he's been in Indianapolis and he's taking care of lots of school issues and lots of planning details. And so we haven't had lots of conversation about the wedding. So the wedding rehearsal rolls around on Friday, and I was just going there to do what I normally do at a wedding rehearsal, to practice gestures and make sure everybody's clear about what they're going to do. But there was something that happened in that wedding rehearsal that I was completely unprepared for. I walked in the door, and there was a wedding planner. And not that I'm okay with wedding planners. Wedding planners are very, very fine people, and I appreciate their attention to detail. But the wedding planner came to me and she said, "Here, I have something for you. And it is what I brought to show you in my bag." What's in here from the wedding planner is useful, it is helpful, but quite frankly, it is one of the most deadly things I've ever seen in my life. Do you know what it would be? What would I get from a wedding planner, June? Do you have any idea? It is, are you ready for it? The itinerary. 3 pages. Down to the minute. It is amazing to me. Their haircuts, the pedicures, the manicures, the men have time to get up, the men have time to get dressed, the men have a specific time to be at church. And that's just the wedding day. Let's not even talk about the reception, which starts at 5 o'clock. And then all of a sudden at 5:55, things really begin to happen because there's stuff at 5:55, at 6 o'clock, at 6:10, 6:15, 7:15, 7:18, 7:21, 7:24, 7:27, 7:30, 7:33, 7:37, I didn't go. 7:41, 7:43, 7:45, 7:50, and at 8 o'clock everyone fell down dead. Now get this, I'm not mocking the work of the wedding planner. And again, this itinerary demonstrates for us our profound need for structure and for planning. And it provides a tremendous sense of control. But there's a fundamental problem with itineraries and plans and goals. And that is that sometimes we're so focused on what we want to accomplish, we're not able to recognize other bigger needs that are around us. Jesus is a tremendous example of what we need to be about. Now I want you to consider the gospel reading that we heard today, because it's a really, really lovely thing. Remember, at the very beginning of the gospel, Jesus learns that John the Baptist had died, that he had been beheaded by Herod. Now please remember that John the Baptist is the second cousin of Jesus. And no doubt, and John the Baptist was also the herald of Jesus. He was one of Jesus' principal allies. And no doubt, Jesus had a profound sense of sadness and grief at John the Baptist's death. And so as Matthew tells us, Jesus leaves and he goes to a deserted place. Now, Matthew never tells us this, but I can't help but wonder whether or not Jesus left to go to this deserted place so he could grieve, so he could spend some time in prayer. So he could gather some courage because his principal ally was now gone. And he was going to be about proclaiming the ministry on his own. It was his responsibility. And so here's Jesus going to this quiet place by himself. And all of a sudden people heard about it. And as Matthew tells us, there is a vast crowd. We only learn later that the vast crowd is 5,000 men, not counting women and children. He is surrounded by this huge, by this huge group of people. Now, Jesus could have left. He could have run away. He could have tried to escape all of that. But you and I need to pay particular attention to chapter 14, verse 14 in this particular passage. Because what does Matthew tell us? Jesus looked, he saw the large crowd, and he had pity on them, and he cured their sick. Jesus had a particular plan. He had a particular focus. He just wanted to go away to a quiet place to be by himself, to pray and to mourn and to grieve and to ask his Father for help. But what does he do? He addresses the needs of those who are surrounding him. And he not only cures their sick, but we also find out a little bit later on that Jesus also fed this huge crowd. He not only showed them compassion, he also fed their very bodies. He took care of their spiritual needs, he took care of their emotional needs, and he took care of their physical needs. My friends, there is a very, very simple but very profound message that's presented to us in this gospel passage. And that is that we cannot prevent or we cannot allow the force of our plans and our goals to impede our vision of the needs around us. We have lots of things that we have planned for ourselves. We have lots of stuff that's all scheduled out throughout the day. But the reality is that there are an abundance of needs that surround us. And you'll find those needs in your husband. You'll find those needs in your wife. You'll find those needs in your sons and in your daughters, in your in-laws, in your neighbors, in your friends. And the reality is that we have to keep our eyes open. Because when we dare to reach out to people with compassion, when we dare to reach out to people in justice, when we dare to reach out to nurture people's spirits, to meet their emotional needs, to meet their physical needs, what happens? We experience the very power of God. That's what happened with those people, with that huge, vast crowd. They experienced the power of God as Jesus reached out to them. And as we reach out to all of those other folks who need our help, who have profound needs, the kingdom of God is right at our fingertips. The power of God is made manifest to us. And all we have to do is just look beyond ourselves. Look beyond our plans. Look beyond our calendars and our watches. And we will find the kingdom of God waiting to explode onto our horizon. And that's all it takes. Hey friends, I have to tell you that the wedding didn't quite go according to the schedule. Because the wedding party was late, and nobody could seem to find the marriage license. And then there was the last-minute bathroom break. And actually, it wasn't a bathroom break, it was a last-minute bathroom emergency. And then there was this unexplained, lengthy pause between the wedding procession and the entrance of the bride. I can't tell you for the life of me what was holding up the deal in the back. But we waited, and we waited, and we waited, and we waited some more. And as I looked at that itinerary, I thought to myself, it didn't happen. Everything that she had planned ultimately didn't happen because there was so much other stuff that came along. But at the end, they got married. George was married to Michelle yesterday, and there was tremendous rejoicing, and there was great delight. It all happened even though we didn't follow the plan. My friends, our days will happen, and our goals will get fulfilled, and everything that we plan will ultimately come to fruition. But my hope is that we are able to see, as we go throughout our day, as we seek fulfilling our plans, all the needs that surround us, so that at the